A very good afternoon and welcome to this episode of Community Voices Uganda on Civic Space TV. I am Philip Melissa. In this episode, we are making an assessment of the electoral process so far, and you may know this is what we are doing and what has happened so far is a precursor for the 2026 general to ensure a more inclusive, a more credible and transparent election in 2026. And joining me in that conversation is a panel of distinguished citizens of this beautiful country, Uganda, who are going to help me unpack that whole conversation and help us understand where we are as far as election is concerned, but also where we should get to, and certainly as we get to 2026, what we should expect and what should be the best practice for that entire activity that ushers in a new leadership for our beautiful country. I will invite my panel to say hello to you, my audience, and we get directly into the depth of the conversation. I'll start with you, Council Tumusime Kakuru. Council, greetings, welcome to the conversation, and how is where you are?
Yes. Thank you for hosting me today. It's a good morning here. I'm in the Western Uganda. I'd gone for some activities there, but I'm happy. I guess my video is clear. I'm great to be hosted on this platform. I'm Kakuru. I'm an advocate of the High Court, practicing with Chiza and Mugisha advocates. And I'm also a human rights activist at that. So I'm branding myself in a jazz. I don't know in a wood whether you can read it. We are protecting the protest, not the violent protest, but a genuine protest. Thanks for hosting me.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are glad to have you on this conversation, and certainly we can't wait to hear what you have to share with us as we proceed with the conversation. I also have an aspiring member of parliament from Barra North constituency under the People's Front for Freedom, and that is Denmark. Adios. Honorable to be, greetings, welcome to the conversation, and how is where you are?
Good morning, Philip. Good morning, comrades. Maybe if I'm to correct you, it's not Embarrassed North, it is Embarrassed House. We are doing well so far, and we appreciate or thank God that we are still alive amidst the challenges we are facing. I thank you.
Thank you, Denmark, Mbarara City South constituency, and we wish you the best of luck, but also we are glad to have you here, and we can't wait to hear what you share with us as we continue with the conversation. I do have an educationist and an activist, Priscilla Amoge. Priscilla, greetings, you welcome to the conversation.
Thank you so much, Phil. Yes, my name is Priscilla Amoge, a teacher by profession and also a human rights activist. I wouldn't love to see a citizen that is silent, a citizen whose freedom is suppressed and therefore they feel like they have been abandoned. No, I wouldn't want to see that. That's why I believe our voices can speak better for us. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Priscilla, for joining us and give us such an introduction there. Thank you. And last but not least, I have the president of the Uganda Young Democrats, and that is Her Excellency Sayun Helen Ashaba. Helen, greetings, you welcome to the program, and I think this is the first program you've attended since your election, so congratulations.
Thank you so much, brother. Good morning, friends. My name is Sayuni Helen, and I am glad to be here. And indeed, it's my first show to attend. I have been up and down, sometimes in the field, and you would invite me, and because of the network in our Uganda societies, in some villages, I couldn't make it, but I'm happy that today I am here, and we're going to have this very important and timely conversation together. Thank you so much, Philip.
Yes, thank you, Helen. And perhaps you are the right person to start with because you have been subject to an electoral activity, but also you lead a section of a political party that has the majority of members, and that is the youth of the Democratic Party there. I want you to first bring me to speak. How is the activity as far as elections are concerned when you look at your constituency, but also your political party? How is the process of people participating, and what are the voices saying on ground? Yes, Helen.
Thank you so much, Philip. The politics of this country is something that every person should get interested in, because it affects every other person's daily life. As per the Democratic Party, by the way, greetings from our party, we are doing picking of nomination forms. And of course, we are seeing, especially the young people, and I'm really very impressed that young people are picking up forms and showing up interest in contesting for the election. But away from the Democratic Party, I've also moved around the whole country, so I can really tell where, as a country, we are in terms of the readiness for the 2026 election. And Comrade Philip, an election is a process. It's not an event. It's not a one-day thing that you just wake up and get into. This election, many people started preparing for it the moment the MPs and the leaders of the 2021 saw in. And I can tell you that the people that prepared earlier, the better. Because we seem to be in a time where most people have even lost hope in the elections. Most people, when you move around, they will tell you that they already know the winners. In most areas, you see they're already very chaotic. And I can tell you this, that we are at a time where we need to get into our people, especially those that are activists, those that are in active politics, and we give hope to our people. When you talk to them, the young people that are picking forms at the Democratic Party offices and are going to contest, you see, like, they have the zeal, they have the energy deep in them, they have some hope that is within them, that you need to add a lot of words onto that hope for it to, to show to show on top. It is not enough to have hope that is so deep. You need to have hope that you can, throw there, and everybody shows that you are working on this. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of clearing the mindset of our people, guiding our people. You see, you meet someone and they tell you, we are going into an election, but this one we don't know. You get? We are going into an election, and one of the serious political mentors that we have, Honorable Kizza Besigye, is still in prison. We are going into an election, and we still have young people and serious people who are still in your cells of the 2021 elections. We are going into an election, and we still have court cases of people that were tortured, court cases of people that lost their properties in 2021, and we've not heard from them. We've not sorted that. We are just going to add on top of it. We are just going to go into an election. And of course, trust me, as you can see, there are already constituencies where there is violence. Remiaga, you saw what is happening to Honorable Tinker's constituency. So that already shows you that we are not safe. But nevertheless, our job right now is to tread hope and also to advocate for peace. But also, and more so, to add on, is to advocate for more courage and brevity for our people. Our people need to go into this election with a lot of hope, with a lot of courage, and go into this election knowing that things can change. Because trust me, most of the people, especially the people that I lead, the young people, are advocates of change. They're advocating for change. Most of them have not seen a new president they have not seen, actually, most of them. Some of them, even their parents have not. Yeah. So we need to do a lot to prepare ourselves. And the Electoral Commission, I haven't felt the work of the Electoral Commission so far. I haven't either felt the work of the Human Rights Commission, which I think is mandated to do the teachings. The correct word has skipped off my mind in terms of voter education. I haven't felt them on ground, because in such instances where we have like some of these areas where there are already violent spots, we expect them to be there. We expect the Electoral Commission to be doing enough of advertisement in terms of where are they taking us and how ready are they. But anyway, Electoral Commission will always be ready. For us, our job right now, and as people that wish for our country very well, is to focus on how are we going to get into election, and focusing majorly on our people deep down there, who may be taken as for granted, and who may just get into something that they do not understand very well, because we have a bigger population that has just become voters. Young people that were not voters in 2021 and are now voters. They need serious voter education. They need to be encouraged, and they need to be motivated so they can do what is right. At this time
All
where we
right.
are, Philip, and allow me to say this finally, you're seeing a lot of unveiling of new forces. Yesterday, I'm told there is a new president who saw in of a political party. Electoral Commission, I am yet to even lodge a complaint on behalf of the Democratic Party. We are moving on streets, then you see somebody branding themselves the all colors of DP, but they have a different logo. You and now that is so confusing to
We
our
live in a
voters.
democracy where people have to express their voices and compete out there without any
Yeah, but
limitations.
now Electoral Commission, as the regulator of political parties, it has a case to answer here. Our people who, for example, believe in multi-party democracy will get lost in there. Those that believe that I will go to the ballot and I will vote a person who I feel lines up here, because trust me,
All
we still
right.
have people who are in this line. So for me, Philip, sorry to take a lot of time, but that is from me for the start.
All right. Thank you so much, Helen, from the Democratic Part of Uganda and the president of the Uganda Young Democrats. And you give us quite an introduction there, and indeed the sense of what you see in terms of activity in the electoral processes that are happening out there in the country and in the different areas you have visited. And I want to hear from you now, Denmark. You are active in the politics, and I've seen a lot of activity at Katonga in your political party, the PFF. First of all, how is the activity like at the PFF, but also looking largely across the country, and with an experience of the past in the 2021 and 2026 elections? How do you envision and what do you see happening in this coming election in terms of how the Electoral Commission is conducting itself? And I know Helen here has said she has not failed the Electoral Commission, but blame them or not, for example, they requested for 1.3 trillion and government is only able to provide 700 billion. How are you looking at the process out there, Denmark?
Thank you, Philip, and allow me first appreciate Helen and Kato and others who are on board today. You see, Mr. Philip, it is very hard to discuss the politics of Uganda today without considering the history. Uganda has got a wide history for the last 63 years. And that history is what has made us be who we are today. For instance, it is good to understand where we have come from, where we have reached, and maybe where we intend to go. Apparently, where we are, I can say Uganda is a developing country where some people are taking the right path and the right direction. And of course, those people who are taking the right direction or the right path are the small group of people. And where the majority are in a serious trouble, and that's majority who are in serious trouble are the young people who happen to be vulnerable in the politics and economics of Uganda. So, Philip, when we reach there, we understand that surely there must be a lot of things to be done. in relation with the changing and having a better regime or a better leadership within the country. What is happening at Katonga, it's exactly what we aspire to have or what we wish to have at the country. First of all, allow me to appreciate the leadership of Katonga for having done what they have done. It is a clear and a sign of good leadership. You know, Philip, leadership does not require one to first be in office. No, leadership can be surely be shown by what you do daily and maybe what you intend to do in the future. What's happening in Katonga that I have to appreciate first is the recent cooperation agreement between ANT and PFF. It is a sign of maturity in terms of the leadership we aspire to have at the country. Two, that cooperation clearly defines how passionate we are in as far as Uganda as a country is concerned. So, Mr. Phil, we need to appreciate that some people are honest and generous and are very, very, very charismatic in having a better Uganda. However, others have got their own interests, and of which I told you about, that small class of people who think that they should always decide for the majority. And the small class of people that I've talked about, who believe that they can decide for the majority, is that class that is moving the entire country. For instance, if you look at NRM primaries, you understand that it's a small group of people that is moving the entire country, commanding who should be a flag bearer and who should not be a flag bearer. And you see, it's very unfortunate that that group of people will not stop only in NRM primaries. Even after NRM primaries, the same class of people, same group of people, will as well try their level best to influence the Electoral Commission to do what they are supposed to do. Just like Dr. Kizza Besigye has always told us, that there will never be an election where Mr. Museveni will be on and accept that he has been on and hand over power peacefully from one person or from him to another person. It is true, we don't expect much in as far as results are concerned, except maybe on the issue of member of parliament. But the issue of the presidency, yes,
Denmark,
please.
if you allow me, first of all, that's prophetic. But two, if you think there will not be another person winning the presidency, first of all, why is the PFF participating at that level? And two, why would on this side the NRM and the person of President Museveni set up an election when they know they already have the winner at hand?
First of all, Mr. Philip, I am not saying that there will not be someone who will win an election. No, we understand and we have experience that Dr. Kizza Besigye has been winning an election. But declaring him a winner and handing over tools of power to him is a different story. The purpose of an election, first of all, is to rally, sensitize the citizens that beyond elections, something should be done. And for long we have been saying, it may not be violent, right? Because we do not support violent means in changing of the regime. It must be non-violent. And for us to have a non-violent activity that will change the regime, people must be sensitized. People must have information. And for them to have that information, we must take advantage and use each and every platform that is being created or given to us by any institution within this government. For example, we all understand that the Electoral Commission.
Before I let you go, how soon can that non-violent thing you talk about happen? But two, how does it briefly look like? I know you might not give me a lot of details about it, but how can it look like?
I understand that, Mr. Philip, you know that Ugandans are ready for a non-violent activity, non-violent means to change the regime. The only challenge that we have is the organization of the leadership of the people. And it is exactly why I am saying that I appreciate the leadership of PFF at Katonga. I appreciate the leadership of ANT because of that cooperation. Through that cooperation, it clearly defined the level of the maturity within our leaders and within our politics. And I strongly believe that if all other political parties come on board,
Mm.
swallow their ego, and understand that it's high time we prioritize Uganda than our selfishness and our selfish interests. Then it is very, very, very much possible for us to achieve and reach our goals in a very, very, very possible time.
Thank you, Denmark, for that. And you talk about political parties swallowing their egos. I hope those egos can be swallowed to pursue the goal you talk about there, and certainly see it realized as you wish it to happen. I want to now listen to you, Council Tumusime. Look, a lot of activities have happened, but among them is voter registration, update of the register, and indeed its presentation for confirmation. And there is a lot of questions about one, the credibility of this register, where people are saying a lot of activity was involved in putting in names that shouldn't be there or remove of names that shouldn't be there. And this is also benchmarked on the fact that, again, there are a lot of complaints that the Electoral Commission is actually not an independent body. I want to hear your thoughts, first of all, on the Electoral Commission. Do you think this is the kind of organization that would deliver the kind of election you would want to see? But two, speaking about the voter register, do you think we have a register that is fit for purpose as we head into the election? Yes, Council Kakulu.
Well, thank you for those good questions, but I will apologize. I'm not switching on my video. I hope it is okay with you.
All right, proceed, sir.
Okay, yeah, the first question one, as one of the people, that is Sanyu said, the Electoral Commission is totally letting the whole process down and messy. Why? Why? Because the Electoral Commission should conduct and manage the entire process of the election. It shouldn't just come in to, update registers and go back to wait for us. No. The Electoral Commission should manage the entire process, one, from sensitizing the population on how they should involve in getting registered as voters, on how they should involve themselves in creating peace and harmony. But to date, I'm disappointed that this Electoral Commission cannot help in preparing at least a free and fair election. Not a good one, but a fair. Why? The Electoral Commission is overseeing the violence within the political party flag bearer campaigns. For instance, it is NRM that is now on the top of this violence. The districts of Zimbabwe, a lot of people are using guns. The Electoral Commission is watching. Districts of Isingiro, people are killing themselves and burning property. Districts of Mubende, districts of Kampala, people are being killed under the watch of the Electoral Commission. But get the challenge here. The challenge here is that one of the candidates in such elections, the primaries, will be nominated to stand and run for the MPship or whatever position. The Electoral Commission will not have any issue with him. And remember, this one will transgress from the NRM primaries or whatever primaries to the national politics. What will happen under the watch of the East? Because we are seeing military men armed, killing and shooting people. We have not seen any statement from the Electoral Commission. So my position is that the Electoral Commission is letting the entire process a mess, and I don't believe that it can really.
Council, if you allow me,
Yes.
We have seen, for example, the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Musingu's, come out and say them as the Electoral Commission do not condone the violence that is happening out there. And they say that they have tried to send out warnings to the participants out there, but these people do not listen. And again, the subject of impunity comes in as we discuss the election. And maybe the question should be, what sort of legal remedies are available on the side of the Electoral Commission, but also on the participants, to make sure they do not continue violating the directives of the Electoral Commission?
Yeah, thank you so much. But you see, at the rate we are in here in our country, the things we have seen should not be only sorted by words. No, we need to see action, because the overall controller of this electoral process is the Electoral Commission. And the Electoral Commission's Act has very clear and straightforward implementation mechanisms. One, they can disqualify these people or do anything to show the other ones that have not involved themselves in such violent actions cannot even believe or have a wish to join them. Two, these people have been killed and no one is talking about it apart from the newsrooms. No. And this is a primary. Remember, the general election is when we shall get who will be MP, who will be chairman, these are just flag bearers. And we have at least lost about 10 or so. Properties have been destroyed. Even in 2021, these things happened. The Electoral Commission did not even, I don't think they wrote even a statement condone such. Political prisoners are still in prison. We are getting into a violent election. One, because of the violence, now the political players are now forming a gari. That is a local training word, a gari. The garis will be attacking each other. One, to protect the vote. Two, to defend their win or lose. I don't care. But you see, the Electoral Commission could have had that duty under its Electoral Commissions Act. One, to send people or to send their agents to every polling station. Even if you are not having an agent at a polling station, your election should not be stolen or whatever messed up with. But you see now, even when the Electoral Commission is there, even when the agents are there, these things have happened. And someone, Honorable Denmark, talked about the history we are coming from. If we have seen these violent actions from as far as, I don't know, 2001, and there is nothing changing. Two, the Electoral Commission, I may use this, is handcuffed. It has nothing to do on its own. Why? The person who appoints the whole commission is the president and is a candidate. So even if he does any violence actions, you recently saw what happened in Kawempe. The Electoral Commission was petitioned with the Honorable Narukora. After the High Court nullified the election, the Electoral Commission openly said we have nothing to appeal against, really. And we think Electoral Commission is doing anything good for us. I think it is even taking us to the worst. And then I think the other one was about voter registration and updating of registers, if I may. Now, you see, this voting process should not be limited at a certain time. One, I don't know, from the time they concluded their updates to date, yet we still have about 4 months to the election. There are people growing 18 every day. There are people who are not in Uganda who have come. Two, the agents they use to update registers are from the mafias or the big masses, the people, the ministers, the generals who want to remain in offices. They will even order who should go to a certain district to do the voter registration or update. So they will know who is opposing them and they will ignore most of his supporters. And nothing, up to now, we have not seen the updated registers being, displayed for us to verify. I was, because I moved mostly, it hurt me that even in the NRM elections where they are going to be lining up, people's names have been removed from registers. These are local because they will be on LCs, polling stations, where you know this is your person, is your NRM or not. But people have even started to raise complaints. Remember, the easy update after it is displayed on for verification, I don't think there will be much to change. So the whole process has been marred by just, I don't know what I may use to describe, I think it is deliberate by the EC to make their income keep at the top with easy, big, untouchables so that they can also remain in office.
All right. Thank you, Council, for that. And it is a very powerful submission you make there. And I will
Yes.
listen to you more a little later as we continue the conversation. Priscilla, you see, You've heard one of the things I think talked about by Helen here was the issue of civic education, and they say the people are not aware. But true, I am also aware that government has statistics that say that between 80 and 90% of Ugandans are actually educated people. And the reason I put this to you is because you are in the education sector. If we have 85% of Ugandans that have gone to school and that they do not understand the value and why we have election in this country, what sort of education are they having? What sort of education are we having as a country? But two, how do we see us transition from people that are very not interested in participating in the election, or even when they participate in the wrong way? You had council here talk about the violence, to having meaningful and very good progressive participation in the electoral process going forward. Yes, Priscilla.
Civic education, or as you say, 80% of the Ugandans are educated, and therefore they know why they should vote, they know their rights, they know they should participate for the economic and political development of their own countries. Now, there are things that exist in status quo that if it's not dealt with, majority of the Ugandans are not going to be participating in the national elections. Things that we ourselves have witnessed and have always seen the things ongoing, but then we keep quiet. You know, the Uganda we are in is actually changed. It's a Uganda where people think of their own well-being. It's no longer the Uganda for God and my country. It is the Uganda for God and my family, for God and my stomach, for God and my tribe, or for God and my clan. You know, that is the trend we're moving to.
Priscilla, why is the trend such? What has happened that has taken the Ugandans from what you say was for God and my country to for God and my family, my stomach, and the many things you add to that lane?
Okay, now what has really made people change or have a negative attitude towards the national elections? Things like oppression of the opposition parties. You see, Ugandans down there, actually after the end of the LRA, the Lord Resistance Army, most of the people that were victims of this war, they don't feel like they need to have another war to bring about change of government. So if they see that peaceful means have failed, because people are so much scared, people want to protect their lives, people want to secure their properties, they would rather say, okay, let's maintain the government that is on, as long as our peace, our lives are okay, we are prospering, that is the Uganda we have. But what has brought all about that? See, oppression of the political parties. I think from 2001 up to now, you find that we have never had an equal ground where both the ruling party and then the opposition party have the same access to campaigns, to resources, to security, to space. You know, one side is always oppressed. So if a Ugandan deep down in the village there looks at someone like Dr. Kizza Besigye being put on trial and, imprisoned, and yet he or she feels like this particular person has influence. So this person then asks, what about a mere me? You get it? So if says that if someone of such a status can be put to jail, what about a mere me who is maybe just a teacher down there? What will then happen to me? Then secondly, the trend that has proved that in order for one to be successful in political and maybe economic sector, then one has to support the ruling party. There is something I always tell people that, you know what, there are Ugandans who may not want consciously to support maybe the ruling party, but because they think that when they support it, they will get some benefits of getting a position, benefits of getting a powerful job, benefits of maybe living a better life. So someone would then opt to go for that option and not stand his or her own ground. Let's look at most of the campaigns, the last general elections that we had. you find that if it's an opposition team, party like NUP, and then NUP is maybe carrying out their campaigns, trying to mobilize in town, there is already tear gas. There is already red top. That enough. Remember the people we are talking about. These are the people who are victims of war, victims of guns, bullets, bombs. They already know what it feels like, to be in that kind of state. So when they try to fight for their rights and they see the same scenarios coming in, they get scared, they back off. That's where then the Ugandans say, as long as I'm alive, I have eaten food, my children have gone to school. Let the ruling party rule, maybe till God decides. So that is where we have reached to. Now, what happens to the elites we have in the country here? When the elites try to stand out, to use the law, to use the knowledge they've gotten from school to try to defend the rights of the people, what happens? You'll hear a drone came in, someone was abducted, you'll hear someone has disappeared, news later comes on the television. So, that kind of state, then that makes us feel intimidated. And I think that is the kind of atmosphere they want to give us Ugandans, that the moment you try to stand for your rights, we shall show you the gate to hell. So they feel putting us at that state of intimidation, fear, like they have managed us. So even if
yes, please conclude on that.
So even if we believe our votes can bring about change, our voices can do something, as long as we don't have an independent electoral commission, that is not affiliated to any political party, trust me, we are not going to have a free and fair election. Because if we have an affiliated electoral commission, trust me, whether we debate this or do what, this electoral commission will always do things to the favor of the political party that appointed him or her in that particular position. So then the Ugandans will continue to be suppressed. The Ugandans will continue to be suffering, because even if they vote, their votes have no impact. Even if their candidates win and they are not declared, they can't bring the change they are fighting for. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priscilla. Oh, such a heavy one. And Sam, this brings me quickly to you. You see, whenever people are talking about the national resistance movement and election, you hear words like oppression, suppression, violence, marginalization, and affiliation of the Electoral Commission to your party, and a lot of those negative words. Looks like these are the new tools of election activity that the NRM has adopted. And certainly for anyone to adopt those tools, it means you cannot win an election through the normal conventional ways of conducting an election. Why doesn't the NRM give up this activity? Because in any case, from what you listen to these people, you have lost ground and you can't take it any longer. Yes, sir. Sam, are you with us?
Yes, thank you, Philip. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you now.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I came in a bit late. I was traveling, but I've now settled. Now, I want to thank you for this opportunity, first of all, to have a say and also make a contribution to the discussion we are having. By names, I'm called Sam Bulombi. I'm the NRM Youth League Chairman in Mbale City. And I want to first and foremost state to the members that Uganda has an independent electoral commission, which is headed by Justice Byabakama, to which all political parties are subscribed to. And like I've been listening to most of our brothers and sisters here, some belong to different political parties. Is it NPP? This group that is separated from FDC. So they have fielded candidates. They have fielded candidates for presidential elections. That alone, in my understanding, is that they have confidence in the National Independent Electoral Commission of Uganda, because you can't participate in an area you feel you are going to be, you don't expect a positive outcome. So coming back to the issues of Electoral Commission and the organization of the elections, Mr. Philip, apparently there are a number of activities Electoral Commission, the Independent Electoral Commission is undertaking. We are in the electoral season. You've seen the elections of special interest groups taking place across the country. We have the elections for people with disabilities councils. We have the elections of elderly councils. The Electoral Commission has also been organizing elections for the National Youth Council, right from villages, and these elections are supposed to go up to national level. I will report to you, Philip, that in Mbale here, where I am, as an NRM youth leader, we fronted candidates on all positions, right from village level, the National Electoral Commission. And I want to report to you that in all villages of Mbale City, the youth leadership, all of them, competed and won elections 100%. In youth council structures, we have NRM as the leading political party that fronted the candidates. We don't know where other political parties are, but 100%. And even in the little areas where NOP happened to front candidates, we defeated them. So recently, just this week, last Monday, we had the elections on the parish level. After villages, we go to parishes. I want to report to you that, again, in all the 52 parishes of Mbale City, NRM won 100%. It's on record.
NRM, the miracle party in Mbale City. What's the trick?
Yeah. It won 100% because, one, you've seen what the party has done. You've seen the programs that the government has put in place that have been targeting the younger people. Programs like the PDM, programs like the Youth Livelihood Program. You have the EMIOGA program. And the president has promised to increase funding to enable young people you get themselves involved in socio-economic transformation as one of the core pillars of this term of office that is coming to an end. It has been the president has been focusing on socio-economic transformation, improving the livelihoods of the rural communities, improving the livelihoods of the young people. It may not be enough for everyone, but step by step, you can see that there is change. Young people are getting involved in economic activities because these are the core pillars of society. People should have what to do. People should be engaged in certain activities. We can't keep doing politicking from morning to evening, yet you are poor. Does not make sense. So I want to tell you that the issue of the Electoral Commission is playing its role. We anticipate to have a free and fair elections in the upcoming general elections. And I want to give confidence to my brothers in other political parties that let us work together, let us support what the Electoral Commission has put in place, let us follow the law and order. Most of these scenarios, which my sister Priscilla was talking about, as elections being marred by violence or all sorts of insecurities. When you take a good look, you will realize that it is these opposition parties which have proved to be so disruptive in their campaigns. You see young people carrying cigarettes, carrying pangas, carrying all sorts of drinks that can influence their mindset to commit crimes. And that's why security has always been coming in to ensure that they protect the lives of the innocent Ugandans, because everyone has a right to a peaceful environment. If you have a right to demonstrate, you do it the right way. You get permission from police. Be secured. so that you exercising your rights as an individual from an opposition political party does not infringe on the right of another individual who wishes to have a peaceful environment. That's why we need that's why we need the security to come in and tame these types of elements in society. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam Bulombi from Mbale City there, and a leader in the NRM political party. And first of all, I want to say it is very wrong for any people out there, like Sam says, if we have any people out there who move around with cigarettes and pangas that might, and any other equipment that might motivate them to undertake illegal activities in their communities, we are against that. But I don't know if Sam will maybe sometime provide evidence to that. And Helen, I've heard you, I've seen you smiling a lot about some of the views of Sam here. First of all, what's your reaction to that? You people are a disruptive group of people that are causing the violence. Is that so? And if that's the case, why does the opposition keep creating the disruptions?
Sam's submission is very interesting. I wish Sam's submission was in the video so we could see Sam. He submits with a lot of seriousness and a lot of lies. So I was just smiling alone here. It is very, very, very rhetoric for him to say that it is the opposition that causes violence in the elections. With hands in Ramiaga constituency, where I think Asimile is tussling it out with the general, really. With hands in Isinjiro, with hands at Bantkas, those are clearly NRM primary elections. With hands that were fighting in Plot 10 recently when the president was nominating. Are we the ones that were fighting, I think, a few days back, if not yesterday, in Kayunga with the Nantab on the microphone and some other lady, I think, called Prosi, they were fighting for the microphone. So that is, I don't know where I don't know the poll that Sam was leaning on to see this, but Comrade Sam is good at kuwaid. But generally,
I mean, he's in Bale City and he tells you that he lives in a city where you have 100% NRM, and therefore any other disruption he seems to see is certainly from the opposition. Would you blame him?
What happens within NRM is that they fail to manage their own lives. And that is what causes the violence. We in opposition clearly do not have a hand in this. The failure of NRM to manage the expectations of their own people and bring them to order is what causes violence. And at the end of it actually affects us. We in the opposition just get affected. Even by that propaganda itself, we are heading into elections. It will affect us, of course, when they start saying that we are the people that cause violence. But I can tell you that sober Ugandans are watching. It may not be now, it may not be tomorrow, but with time they will ever get to know what the truth is. When you wake up today morning and then you say that opposition causes violence, for example, right now in an election where we are not participating, then we need to just pray for this country. Nevertheless, we must all, by all stature and by all energies, come up against violence because it affects all of us. Trust me, we have friends, we have relatives who are in NRM. You have friends and you have relatives who are in opposition, and violence affects all of us. We do not have to lose a life. We do not have to disable a life. We don't have to affect any life, whether emotionally or physically, because of an election. An election comes and goes, but lives must stay. That is the message
Right.
that we should all go with in the election. And I had him actually asking why we are participating in an election when we know that it's not going to be fair and free. Well, democracy dictates that we have to participate. And what we get out of it will be a lesson. We have to keep learning. Learning never stops. We have to participate in an election because it is here for us to participate. This is a multi-party system that we all chose. by voting, by referendum. We chose it, and we agreed that every after 5 years we are going to an election. This is something that we have to keep participating in. As to what we get out of it, those are just clear lessons that we cannot put aside. As the opposition right now, what we needed would have been like a joint power to participate into this election. But the environment to which we are right now, I can tell you, it is even very hard for somebody to wake up and advocate for it. Right now, Comrade Denmark already talked about the coalition that they are forming with the ants. But you're forming a coalition with ants, but you're leaving around other over 10 political to be powers that have been formed. So what happens of that? For me, I would say we would either choose to participate and throw over and take over parliament, one of the arms of government, the legislature. We don't field a presidential candidate. We all focus on getting many opposition candidates in parliament, and we take over the legislature. Or we all focus and get a president of the country. It should have. It's for me, and I think that's what comes into my mind every time I see people advocating for coalitions and what. But these are things that DP has been doing. We have advocated for this in 2020, towards 2021. We did UID reunions, invited everybody. People went back doors and planned different things. And we were almost left behind. You remember our president nominated last. The reason our president almost nominated last was that he was still waiting for people to agree on whether we are fielding one presidential candidate, only to realize people had nominated like long time. So we need to be honest to ourselves. We need to be honest to ourselves. If we are to fight for change, fight very honestly, but also fight with all our energies together. Agete and Gogati Gufa, Philip.
All right. Thank you so much, Helen. And before I come to Denmark Council, I've seen you raised something important here, and you say that you even had NRM people in the courts over electoral violence here, and you are challenging what Sam here was telling us. Perhaps you want to make a reaction to his submission, but also look going forward. How do you think we can curb this to ensure it doesn't continue happening in our electoral activity? Yes, Council Kakuru.
Oh, yes. Thanks so much once again. Well, I'm shocked by what my colleague is just alleging. Sam, well, you see now from the start, even before nomination, someone talked about Honorable Tinkasi Mire. I got instructions to represent him because he was abducted for 2 days. He's now in the constituency. They are fighting every day over what? Over an election. That is not opposition. Two, at LDC and Uganda Road, there are people being charged who are supporting, who are, I think, in front of the president while going for, I don't know, a nomination or whatever. They are in court just last week. And also in his countries like Sinjiro, NRM is killing NRM. So the blame game should not even arise here. What we need to look at is what has made this a do or die. I have some few things I want to put across. You see, with these abductions and what, we are facing something that will not be here, and no one will be safe with such kind of arrangements. One, we have two classes of people, those who have and those who don't have. So those who have are the ones who have the guns, like the ministers, like whatever generals. They want to use the power they have to cheat from us and then go to parliament. I don't know why the police and the military and the judge are getting involved in a primary election, a party primary election, killing people, shooting. So who has the guns? Does anyone in opposition have a gun? I'm not so much into active politics, but really we need to see something changing within our government and the entire system so that we can have the people. One, we have a judiciary right now. We have been fighting since last year in November over Dr. Chiza Besigye and Haji Rutale's abduction from Kenya. In January, one of our colleagues and a lawyer, someone who understands and has been in practice, was I don't know, summarily sentenced and convicted. We have just secured his bail. It was hard for even him to get his passport to secure some treatment abroad. Up to now, we have filed several applications for bail. No judge is even
Is that in reference to Council Aaron Chiza?
Yes. Council Aaron Chiza. You remember we had even a fight and we had to make an application requesting for a passport to be returned. Yet it was even in the ruling of his bail. Two, now from March, we have filed now so far 3 bail applications, one which was mandatory. Up to now, no judge is even interested in even fixing it for hearing. We don't care about the results for now, but let him be heard on his right to bail. Today, I've seen the president is the chief guest on the Chief Justice's Thanksgiving. We have cases from 2021 against the torture abductions. Many opposition people are still in prison. These are 5 years. We are going into another election. What they have formed as a guard, they want to use it against the opposition to arrest more. Because you see, actually for me, I've seen even the police is even siding with the NRM to cause chaos against the opposition to have justifications for arrest. But if you arrest someone, charge him, don't torture him, don't put him in basement for Nyankore. No. And the last one I want to say is these policemen and the military men want to cause chaos within the politics because they are just interrupting us. You see, you can't just push me to the wall and I don't have any reaction, if I may. So you will find a lot of killings because of the way the people have misused the authority. One, what has the UPDF come out to say about the military people, the generals, killing innocent Ugandans over an election? Imagine, I don't even know what people think. A retired general, it means you have been used and you are tired. You need to go and rest. But he's now coming to represent people. Where has he been before retirement? Ministers have been in parliament for over 25, 30 years. They are now killing innocent people in Isingiro. They still want another. For what? Really? I think that we have lost even the sense of where we are going, and there is a foreseeability of having even more than this, because you will not kill my son or my brother and then I keep quiet. So you will find even revenge coming in, which is not good for our country. And another thing, this tribalistic thing of Nyankore. You know, we are all Nyankore, but we don't know even what these guys are thinking. We don't even know whether they are Nyankore or not. But they want people to hate us, because if they see me, they will just see my face and this is also Nyankore. So these are the people teaching us Nyankore. They can even lynch me without knowing anything, yet I'm innocent. Even up to now, we are still filing applications under the Human Rights Enforcement Act. But the cases we filed as far as 2023, 2024, against torture, abductions, and kidnaps, we have not had anything. Kakwenza is in exile. You know Kakwenza Ruchirabasheja is in exile. He was charged under the Computer Misuse Act. The Computer Misuse Act was challenged in court and it was nullified. But up to now, 3 years, we are still in court demanding for his passport to be returned. No one even is interested in fixing our application. So you see, the judiciary now, which would have helped us, since the police has joined the state, has also joined the state. We have nothing much for now, unless we can change.
You even have a whole president of the Uganda Law Society in exile. So
absolutely. And imagine, this is a lawyer who has been practiced. He's leading over thousands of advocates. He's in exile. Why? His cases don't want to be heard. So you see now, where I would have run to for rescue would be judiciary. That you have kidnapped my son, put him in a basement. I run to judiciary. They give me a habeas corpus. You produce him. We entertain the legal matters. But because now these people think they are even above. I had someone where he's no longer there, but he said you can only report him to God because he thought he was there. But what I need every one of the panelists and our listeners to know, time is a friend of everybody. I love General Munt for such a word. Those who are in UPC killed and tortured people, where are they now? Even no one can even, you see, even fighting to get an MP is a war. Those who are in Amin's regime, where are they now? Even some cannot even return after the many years. This time will also come to an end. But remember, you are torturing people, you are killing our brothers and sisters, you are doing all sorts of bad things against us. So I want you to reflect. Maybe this one is a call for those. At least some is here, you will maybe send it. But what he was even talking about in NRM, these special interest groups, I've been in the West, I've been in Barara, I've been in Tungamo, I've been in Kasesa, I've been in Ushen. The NRM has made it impossible for even anyone against them to even pick nominations. So you shouldn't brag of having won 100. We know how they win it. But let us reflect on what can happen if things change and with the oppressed get to oppress you.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Council, for that. And you really send out ideas and thoughts there for anyone to think about and certainly look forward as we create a better country for ourselves. Denmark, what should be done to make sure we change this sort of activity, and first from within the political parties, but largely at the country level, because the sort of violence we talk about today is very characteristic of the NRM primaries. What should be done to have this wiped out of our electoral process? Yes, Denmark. I think I've now lost you, but I think as you get back, I wanted to hear from Priscilla here. Priscilla, going forward, how do we motivate the people out there, especially the youth, to constructively participate in the electoral process as we head into 2026?
Very good question, because we know the youth, we are the majority of the Ugandan population. So I think first thing foremost, we need to define then what democracy looks like. We wouldn't want to have a country that says it's democratic, but then in the reality, it looks like something of dictatorial or dictatorship, where people's rights are being abused, people's voices are not being heard, like you try kind of suppress. You see, the youth are driven by what I would say the truth. When you give your manifesto to the people, I think it's good moral to always see that you achieve them. Many times with the youth, we have complained that, we don't have equal participation. Look at even the parliamentary seats that are mostly occupied. You find that still the majority, the minority, the majority are the elderly people that we believe should also give the chance to the youth to participate. So then now what happens? If we see our youth that come out to represent us, one being tortured, being imprisoned, all those kinds of inequalities being done on them, then it really becomes hard for us to say that we can motivate the youth. So I think first, let's redefine what democracy looks like and how a democratic country works like. Two, let's give the youth the platform whereby we allow them to exercise their rights, allow them to exercise their votes, and we value it. Let's not just give them a platform that they talk and then when they want action, we deny them the access to the platforms, to the resources, to the funds that they would then require to carry out elections. Then 3, I think also setting a good example of how then leadership should be is also paramount in seeing that we really engage this youth, because these are the future leaders that we are going to have. You know, if there is one thing that we are all not immune to, is death. Death is for everyone. So your time will come. However powerful you are, however mighty you are, however rich you are, however influential you are, time will come that you will also be taken away. Your legacy will also be taken away. Your influence will also be destroyed. You know, and it will be a time for another shining star to rise. So if we continue giving these people a bad example, then trust me, a few will also follow that kind of trend. Now, what kind of country shall we be building for the future generations? Every day and night we are here saying we're fighting corruption, we are doing this and that. But who are the very people involved in that corruption? The high political figures, the influential people. And what is done? No action is done. So we give a mindset to these people. When they also go out, they say, oh, so this is what is done. So what does it then show? That if we, the people who right now are in power, we don't show a good example.
All right. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for that submission. And Denmark, I think you are back. Going forward, what should be done, especially at the level of political parties, to avoid this sort of violent activity in our electoral processes? Yes, Denmark.
Yes, Philip, sorry for network issues, maybe. I believe you can get me now.
Yes, I do.
Well, I was requesting to first put a comment on what my brother Sam talked about. I hear Sam
Please,
talks as if,
if you can make it a bit brief.
yes, I hear Sam is talking as if he's a historical. You know, these days in Uganda, it's only historicals who brag, who talk with much confidence, as if nothing can happen to them. I want him to understand that in our generation, where we have reached as a country, everybody of our age is a candidate of prison. Whether you accept it or not, it is just a matter of time. I must assure him that we are seated on time bomb. Anything can happen. I can stop from that. Maybe talk about what you asked me about. Philip, it is high time that we differentiate being messengers of the right message and messengers of good message. You know, being a messenger of right message, it is something that is costly, that is very expensive. And messengers of good message, of course, enjoy the fruits of the government because they have been sent to say something, whether it is right or not, but it pleases those who have sent them. So it is high time that we sacrifice the little we have and we want Uganda surely to move from where we are to a better Uganda. But failure to do that, to be the messengers of the right message, we are serving the interests of the other small group of people I talked about. And the reason of that is simply because we need to live a good life that we have not surely worked for.
All right. Denmark, I think we have lost you again, but thank you for that submission. And I think it's fair to, I know our time is very much fast spent, but Sam, I think you might have something to respond to as per what has been sent to you, but also the NRM party. What do you have to react to about this? And certainly, do you think the NRM can do away with violence in its primaries? Yes, Sam Bulombi. I think Sam, are you able to hear me? Are you with us so that you make a reaction to the conversations?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, thank you once again, Mr. Philip. I want to first and foremost state that, like what my brother said, not historical, but I speak also based on what I see and what I observe with my eyes, according to the prevailing circumstances. I want to appreciate my comrades, my brothers and sisters here for what they have raised. That one, in NRM, every political party has their own internal problems, which they settle within their respective political parties. And NRM is not exclusive of that. We also have our internal problems as a political party, and what has been happening in the electoral violences within the NRM, something that we do not support as a political party. But just like any other political parties, they also have their internal issues. Sometimes the difference between NRM and the opposition political parties is that our internal problems do not divide us. We can disagree today, we can disagree tomorrow, but we remain intact as a political party. Unlike what you've seen in the FDC, when they disagree internally, they separate. For us, we don't separate, we remain together because we know our unity, our strength as a political party is in our unity. That's why we've stayed at the top of the game. That is what I can say about people, my brothers were talking about NRM having internal issues right now, that our internal problems do not divide us, but they make us stronger. We can disagree to agree or disagree to disagree, but we remain together as a family. So I want to implore my friends what they have talked about. We don't support violence, electoral violence. There are rules and systems in place. We have the judiciary, we have the executive, we have the legislature. All these are arms of government, and all of them have a role to play. We have the constitution that governs a lot of most of our day-to-day activities, whether in politics, whether in business, in whichever way we lead our lives. But coming back to the typical issue for this discussion, going forward, apparently political parties are in their identification of who will hold which political flag bearers, in which constituencies, in which levels of leadership. We look forward to a peaceful elections. Mr. Mulisa Philip, that's what I can assure you. As a NRM, we look forward to a peaceful elections.
Thank you so much. And maybe one thing you've not told me about, do you think the NRM can have a violence-free election? And Mbale City is not free from this, because you remember the contention that has always been there between the Honorable Lydia Wanyoto and the other competitors in that particular city. Do you think this time around we are going to have a peaceful display from Mbale City?
Yeah, definitely. All our candidates within the party have been moving together and holding joint campaigns. The campaigns have been, yes. So we expect a free and fair elections.
All right, thank you so much, Sam Bolombi, for that assurance from the part of the NRM party, and hopefully they live to that. Colleagues, our time is very much fast spent. We have very few minutes to be out of here. Perhaps I will give each one of you here a minute, just 60 seconds, to give your final remarks as a way of an outro as we come to the close of the conversation. I will start with you. Let me start with you, Denmark, because you left before you concluded on your points, so that you conclude and give your final remarks in about a minute, sir. But I think your networks is not on your side, because again, we keep losing you. Let me, Priscilla, if you're there, any final remarks you might want to give as we get out of here?
Okay, thank you so much, Phil. So to the viewers, to the audience out there, change is a gradual process. We go through a lot, but there's this saying that says there is light always at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up. fight for your rights, fight for your freedom. One day we will achieve it. One day we shall have the kind of Uganda we all want, or one day we shall reach where we all want. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priscilla. Yes, Denmark. And Denmark cannot hear. Council Kakuru, if you can hear me, please, going forward, any final remarks or advice, recommendation to the people out there?
Oh, yes, thanks so much. I can get you well. And I appreciate the deliberations by all the panelists. But going forward, Uganda is for Ugandans. No one should die and then you tell us you are going to solve it internally. No, we have lost a life. You can't gain a life lost for especially an election. As Ugandans, we need to see ourselves moving to a better and stable Uganda, where the one from my LC1 in Itojo and the one from Kampala and the one from Guru can have a say on what can build Uganda, not having segregations, not having issues of that. And also, we need to know that we are brothers. We might belong to different political parties or we believe in different ideas, but we should all condemn violence in these elections. Thank you so much, Philip.
Thank you so much, Council. Helen.
Thank you, Philip, and thank you, colleagues that have been with us in this conversation. I want to finalize by appreciating some of the organizations that are running the peace, the Let Uganda be led by peace campaigns. Most of the civil society organizations are now running campaigns preaching peace. We last year signed a peace pledge at Sheraton. This weekend, last Monday, we were in Kasese. Interparty as Multi-Party Youth Forum, NRM had a representative, and all the other parties with representation in Parliament. We were with NIMD. We did a tournament. We did a peace talk. And I want to appreciate everybody that is doing their best to make sure that we have a peaceful election, but also doing their best to let the youth know that this is our time to shine, this is our time to lead the country. There is no tomorrow. Tomorrow is today. And we must take charge of ourselves. And colleagues, let the next government find you alive. Whoever is forming a galley, let the galley be formed. Bicycle, let the galley be formed, but the next government should find you alive. At the top of your mind, do whatever it takes to bring up change, but make sure the change finds you when you're alive. Let the elections be peaceful. And as DP, we stand for dialogue and we stand for a peaceful election. I want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Helen. And Denmark, I don't know if you can now hear me and able to say a word.
Well, first, sorry for maybe network problem or technical error. I don't know whether you can get me now.
Please.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Let me also add my voice on what most of other colleagues have just said. It is good to be mindful of what we do and how we do it, but it is as well good to understand that there is no other country that we shall have except Uganda. We must, by all possible means, do all it takes to leave a very positive and impactful legacy that so that our next generation, the next generation that will come after us, have something to start on to have a better Uganda that we sure desire to have. I thank you very much.
Denmark, adios. Thank you so much. And we wish you the best of luck as you contest in Mbale City South constituency and the PFF at large. Priscilla Muge, an educationist, thank you so much for being with us today, and wish you the best of luck as you continue with your deliberations out there in Bukedea and that wider area. And of course, Sam Bulombi, I know you have a lot of activity in Mbale City currently, but we thank you so much for sparing time to join the conversation. But also, we wish you the best of luck as you continue to get into the new leadership roles that you are seeking to get in that particular part of the country. Council Tumsime Kakuru, we thank you so much for sparing time to join us, but also for your thoughts. And indeed, we know about a lot of work you do in the legal sector there, trying to seek for justice for the very many people that come out to you. And Kato, but also the entire team that you work with. We see the work you do and we appreciate you so much. And lastly, Madam President of the UID, Helen Sayun, I thank you so much for making time. And I know you are even in the field even this week, but thank you so much for joining the conversation and thank you for your thoughts that you've shared with us today. And special thanks to you, our viewers, for keeping it Civic Space TV and Community Voices Uganda. Special thanks to the technical team and to the Center for Constitutional Governance and all our other partners for making sure we're able to have this and more conversations going forward. And colleagues, we look forward to hosting you once more as we continue with these deliberations about the electoral process, but also any other related topics that we keep having here on Civic Space TV. And continue to look out for our conversations on YouTube because they are usually uploaded there and you can see them on our YouTube channel, Civic Space TV, on our X handles, on our Facebook and all other social media platforms. I am Philip Mlisa and I shall see you next time.